Okay, so I'm on page 78 in my notes here. You should be too. And the next thing we need to be able to do on using trigonometry is use our rules to be able to find a missing side. So last day we were just finding missing angles. We also need to be able to use our rules to find missing sides. So the starting off process is exactly the same. You start off by labeling the sides of the triangle and then figuring out which one of the rules, sine, cos or tan, that you can use to solve for it. So in this one here we have been given this angle is 40 degrees. We're being asked to find this side. So here's our angle. This is the side opposite it. So this is the opposite. This 8 is the side that is opposite the right angle. So it's the hypotenuse. And this other side is the adjacent. So it's beside the angle and it's not the hypotenuse. So if you remember, the little trick that we use to figure out which one to use is SOHCAHTOA. So let's see, we've got our angle, we're asked to find O, so we're using O, and we've been given H. So it's O and H that we're using, and from SOHCAHTOA we can tell that's going to be sine. So the first thing I would write out here is the rule for sine. So sine theta equals O over H. And then the next step is just to fill in anything that we know. So we know theta, we know the angle is 40. So sine of 40 equals, the opposite is what we're being asked to figure out. It's x over the hypotenuse, which we know is 8. Okay, now sine 40 is just a number, but I'm just going to leave it as sine 40. You could hit sine 40 equals into your calculator and that'll give you the answer, but we're going to do all that at the end. So now we've got an equation just with one unknown. We've got x being divided by 8, and that's equal to sine 40. So just like with any algebra, to figure out what we have to do, we need to do the opposite of what's currently happening to x. So x is currently being divided by 8. We need to multiply both sides of our equation by 8. So that means we've got 8 multiplied by sine of 40 equals x. So how I would type this in is just to type in 8 sine 40. So I've got 8 sine 40. Close my bracket and hit equals. And that gets me 5.1423, etc. So 5.1423, and to 3 significant figures, that's just 5.14. Check my units, because this is in centimetres, this is going to be in centimetres. Also have a wee check and see, is your answer sensible? So that does make sense, because see here, see the way that was 8 centimetres, and this is only an angle of 40. We're not going to have like 50 centimetres here or 100 centimetres or anything. 5.14 does seem a sensible answer. So we know we're on to something at least. Okay, let me see. Example 2, which is on page 79. Oh, my watch has gone off. So example 2 is this. So we've got our triangle. We've got our right angle is here. The side opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse. This is the angle that we're using, so this really is theta. The side opposite of that is called the opposite, and the side to the other side of it is the adjacent. So we need to figure out whether we're using sine, cos or tan. So SOHCAHTOA. Okay. Now we've got A is 9 and we're being asked to find the opposite, so we're using O and A, so that tells us that it must be tan that we're using. So start off writing out the rule for tan. Tan theta equals O over A. Oh, Hang on a second. First mistake. Hopefully that's only my first mistake and there's none I haven't noticed. So tan, we know angle theta is 50. So tan of 50 equals, opposite is this side we're trying to find, x, and the adjacent is 9. So very similar to last time. To get x on its own, we need to multiply both sides of this equation by 9. So 9 tan 50, and we can put this in brackets if we want. You don't have to. Some people like to, some people don't. Equals x. So x equals, and if I just type this in, 9 tan 50, 10.726. So the three significant figures, 10.7, and we're still in centimetres. Does that seem a sensible number? Yep, happy enough. Okay, so make sure you're typing these in as well to check that you're getting the same answer as me and all the rest of it. Okay, one more, yep. So example 3, we've got this triangle this time. So here's our right angle. Side opposite of that is the hypotenuse. Here's the angle that we're working with, and the side opposite is x. This other one is the adjacent. So SOHCAHTOA, to figure out which rule we're going to be using. So here's our angle. We have to find the opposite, and we've been given the hypotenuse, so it's sine again. So sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Theta we know is 20. Opposite is x, that's what we're trying to find, and the hypotenuse is 8. So if I multiply both sides by 8, that'll get me x on its own. So 8 sine 20 equals x. So x equals 8 sine 20, close my bracket, 2.736, and the three significant figures, 2.74. Let me check my unit. Centimetres. Does it make sense? Yep, seems sensible enough to me. Okay, that was quite a wee quick one today, so hopefully I didn't go too fast for you. As always, ask me any questions if you're stuck, and I'll list the questions from the worksheets that you have to do. Okay, good luck.